Hi, this is Jerome from the Jerome Bee Farm, Newcastle, Oklahoma. I was out doing some watering today on the water wagon. Pulled down here by the bee yard. Thought I'd do a quick video. I haven't done one in a while. We're having the driest June. It's the second driest June on record, they're saying on the news. We got about maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain a couple days ago, and it's already dry again. So we're in a dearth right now. The bees are really defensive, especially the ones that don't have a queen in them. That far back hive there on the left doesn't have a queen. They've been working on a queen for quite a while, so I think the first set of queen cells that they made didn't work out. I gave them another frame of brood, and they're working on that right now. They pulled new ones down, and you open that lid, it's just like paper clips going to a magnet. They go right at your hands and your face, so it's not a pleasant thing. That hive right next to it, I'm going to try and graft some queens off of this hive here in the spring. That hive there, it's number 2 hive, actually started to swarm. I caught it before it swarmed, and I moved that queen, did an artificial swarm, moved her into another hive. I'm not sure which one. And I also, so I split her off into a hive, and I pulled 2 other splits off of that. So this hive was split into 4 hives, and they hatched out the queen from a swarm cell, and that queen began laying. They filled out the bottom and the top deeps. I added a honey super. They filled that super there in 6 days, and the one above it is 90% full. That bottom super is capped, and the top one is about 20% capped. So it's July 2nd, by the way. So that queen there in that hive has some great genetics, so I'm going to try and propagate that next year. Everything's going pretty good. I got a few single deeps that I've pulled some splits off. This split here was a queen that I got last year from California. Can't remember the name of the place, but I got it next day aired. She came from this hive right here behind the tree there on the end. They weren't doing much all spring and really slow. I fed and fed and fed, and they didn't do anything, so I called that my welfare bees. They didn't do much, and then all of a sudden she laid out that whole thing, and they just took off like crazy. So I was afraid she might swarm, so I pulled her out, made a split, and put her right there. And this hive here is working on a new queen, so it'll be half California queen and half native Newcastle, Oklahoma, whatever's around here. So we'll see how that one does. Actually, they did hatch out a queen, and I found a virgin queen in there yesterday, so hopefully she'll make it out. I put some little decorations on top there so she could recognize her hive. So on top of the brick there's a little queen cage sitting there with the yellow thing, so hopefully she'll find her way back okay. That's about it. The ones down here on the end, the far right's the swarm from Caddo County. I ordered a queen Father's Day. The folks in Texas had a sale on their queen, so I got one and put in that nuke next to that. Then the one right there, that's Mrs. Dickerson. She's still going slow. She needs another frame of brood, I think. And this one here is a little split that I pulled off, and they made their own queen, and then they superseded that queen right after that. So they hatched out a queen in there again, and that queen is maiden and is back and just started laying. So you can see I'm feeding all those down there, and I think they're going to do all right. I'm going to expand this area here next spring, and my plan is to set up nukes down there, and I'm going to sell some nukes. In fact, that was my plan this year, but I wound up just putting hives on it instead of nukes. So my plan was to have 10 hives that I did honey and 10 that I would split and make nukes off of. So I'm the kind of person that likes to arrange things nice and neat and in a row, and I was going to pull off the latest 10 over here was going to be the ones I would pull queens off of and make nukes, and then these 10 more established ones over here I was going to pull honey. So what the bees didn't understand about that was which 10 were which. So these ones over here, the ones that decided to swarm and split, and these ones over here are the ones that some of them are making honey. So anyway, I learned that you can't just pick which 10 you're going to do what you plan. You just got to go with the flow. No pun intended. You got to go with the flow and figure out what you're going to do as it happens and adjust accordingly. So show you real quick my little water wagon here and spray rig. Got a North Star from Northern Tool, a sprayer here that I spray stuff around the farm. Spray mainly the driveway and kill all the grass coming up in the weeds in the driveway. But here's the rig I made. This is a little trailer from Harbor Freight. You can get these for, I think it was $249. This is the one that has, I think it's a 950 pound capacity. It's got a pretty light axle. It's designed to fold up right here in the middle, and back here on this little plate you actually mount casters right there, so you can stand it on end, and if you didn't have much room you roll it up in your garage. But the way I built it, you can't do that. I welded in a piece of steel in the middle, had some diamond plate, and painted it black, painted the fenders black, and I put the wood on there. And these are two 35-gallon tanks I got from Tractor Supply. I used to use these out here before we moved out here. I'd load these in the truck, fill them with water, and come out here and water little trees that we had, and just barely keeping them alive. But since we moved out here, we got access to water. I put them on this trailer. I connected them together with just some little low pressure, just normal garden hose. And I got this pump here from Northern Tool. It's a 4-gallon per minute pump, and it's an on-demand pump. So once it just went off. Once it gets pressurized, it's got a shut-off switch in there. It's the same kind of pump that's in like campers and things like that. And I've got an older deep cycle battery here I use and run it off of. So I actually use the switch that comes off the sprayer rig over there. So, and it's got little quick connectors on it. So when I need to spray, I just disconnect it from here and move it over to the battery there on the four-wheeler and spray. I planted about 50 Vitex bushes out here a few years back, and been watering those. And I just planted some other variety that the bees like even better, Vitex Negundo, and I'll show you a picture of those. Just notice this lily here. I don't know if my wife planted that or if it just came up volunteer. I guess that's what that is. She's the plant expert. Anyway, it's just coming up out of the woods there. We got all kinds of wildflowers. We just kind of let the field go this year and bloom for the bees. That's an apricot tree got from my father-in-law from a volunteer. It has not bloomed or done anything, so I don't think it's ever going to make apricots, but we left it there because it's green. Anyway, Vitex are on up here. There's the Vitex right there. It's a pretty puny looking little thing, but I mail ordered these on eBay, and I was out of town when they showed up, and I left them in the box too long, so they had moisture, but when I got them out to plant them and got them out into the sunlight, they really wilted bad. I thought they were going to die, so those must be some really tough plants. So they're a full sun plant, but I got them here where they're going to get evening shade off of this. That's west right there. It's just a big wall of trees, but they've been hanging on, so I've been watering them. And these are the ones that have the purple flowers that the bees really like. I believe it's purple flower. One has purple and one has white, and the Vitex Negundo has a smaller flower that bees like, honeybees prefer, rather than the Agnus cassis variety. And that's what I have the most of. There's another one right there. I've got 5 total of these. Here's where I built my pond this spring. Excuse me. Got some Bermuda grass growing there trying to come in. My pond is bone dry. I got to get some something to put in the bottom of that thing so it'll retain water. This is sandy soil around here. So do this once a week. Got the little flag on there so it don't get mowed off. You can see where this one was. That's the damage from where it got too dry. But it's leafing out, and I think it's going to make it. So right up above this Vitex, there's a swarm trap. So I had at least 3 hives swarm that I didn't catch, and not one of them went to that swarm trap. I had another one set up on the north end, but I don't know why, for some reason they didn't go in there. I had lemongrass oil in there, and there's comb in there as well, so not sure what the deal is. There's the little pond. Believe it or not, in May that thing was completely full and went over the spillway back there on the right hand side. And there's also a little culvert here on the left hand side, and it spilled over right here as well. So that's sand rock bottom. One of my friends told me that won't hold water. He was spot on. Anyway, last weekend I got in there and I cleaned out all the silt that washed in from up here. I was hoping to have grass going up here, so that wouldn't happen. We got enough rain to germinate it all, and it did wash out on me, and then it's been so dry, so it hasn't been doing too well. I water down here every night to keep this grass alive. Anyway, that's the infamous pond that I made with my little 33 horse tractor, box blade and front end loader. This is Buck. He's neighbor's dog. He comes visits us all the time. He's got one blue eye and one brown eye. Here's the other Vitex Negundo. This one actually looks pretty good. So I'm going to get some water on that. And then down this row here, there's one more Negundo right there. And then the rest of these are Agnus castus. Believe it or not, those plants are, I think, 5 years old. These ones along here. They haven't grown much because they didn't get watered a whole lot when they were young, but been watering them a lot this year and they're doing a lot better. I moved 2 of them out here so they could get some more sun. Anyway, that's it from the Jerome Bee Farm. Hopefully the next update will be harvesting honey. Got quite a bit of honey out there, but only about half of it's capped, and I'm afraid I need to get it off of there. When it's this dry, we get bitterweed around here, and I don't want bitterweed in the honey. It makes it taste like cough syrup. That's no good. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe. Everyone says that, so I'm going to jump in. Hit like and subscribe, and put any comments down there, and I'll try and answer you if I can. Thanks.